I want you to walk through this with me. It's called song, okay? I want you to figure out what song they're singing. Number one, figure out what their situation is. What is their situation? Where are they? What kind of work you do? And you say, well, what if they just say, what do you got right off the bat? Learn questions like this. Well, what we've got is an opportunity. Listen to me. I'm responding, but I'm only responding to what I want to say. What we've got is an opportunity, but before I start rambling with you, Robin, do you mind if I find out where you are? Now, the psychology of people is everybody wants somebody to understand their situation. They want people to see them as a person. So I go right into that. I go, could I try to understand where you're coming from first? What's your situation? Most people are like my puppy dogs. When you got to hold up a treat to them, like, oh, yeah, that's what I want to do, is tell you my situation. And people don't understand, and you're willing to listen. That's right, I am. Now, a lot of people, they'll ask, they just go broad as everything. They go like, all right, you married? Where'd you go to school? And you're not listening. I'm listening. I'm looking for a way to drive deeper. Okay? And I'm finding out, what I really want to know is what path takes me down, all the way down to the heart of the matter. Okay? I'm looking like a point guard that's bouncing the ball, and he's looking around, and he's looking for a place to drive in and score. I'm looking for the heart. And if I ever hear a quiver about the children, about their house, about their job, about their boss, about their spouse, I'm listening to figure out what's the surrounding situation that's going on with these people. All right. Okay. When I was talking to Terry, I would say, Terry, I understand you lost a job. Your situation, did you have a lot of money saved up before you moved to Atlanta, or were you in bad broke situation before you moved? Are you in a panic? Are you in a hurry? See, if he said, well, actually, I'm a trust fund baby and I've got money coming in, I'm just looking for something to do, I'm going to handle that differently. If he says, well, no, it's just me and my wife and we're not under any panic situation, but what he said is, I've got 3 children, young'uns, my wife is stay-at-home mom, I got another on the way, Andy, I got to move quick. I handle that differently. So their situation guides what I'm going to do next. If they're going to take forever to do something, I'm just more relaxed. But if it's an urgent situation, I get more urgent. So their situation guides me on where to go next. Now, organization. What's the organization situation? Who's in charge? Is your wife happy to be in Atlanta? Would you rather move back up here at High Point? Does she find you the job? Who's in charge of the situation? If I'm talking to a mother with 2 kids, I'm like, now who takes care of the kids? How do you do that when you work your job? If the wife, I'm talking to the wife and her husband has another job, then I'm still wondering, does he take care of the kids? Who's in charge? Who's the decision maker? Is his mother around? Does she help? Now, if people say, like, keep this in mind. What if a guy says, well, I got an ankle bracelet and I can't go so far? That's because the police are in charge. You understand what I'm saying? That's a totally different situation. Single guy that lives at home with mama. Single guy that's in an apartment with 2 other guys that's sharing the three-bedroom apartment. He's sharing it in all 3 of them, and I'm picturing dirty clothes. I'm picturing crumbs. I'm picturing, just not cleaned up, right? I mean, I'm trying to figure out what's the organization situation. How is it? Who's going to make the decisions when I start asking questions? Where's the money come from? Does mom supply him with your money? Does the husband control all the money? Or the situations you have no money, where are you going to get money from? Where's this? I'm thinking. I'm trying to figure out what song they're singing. I'm still, by the way, all this I'm talking about now, I'm still up in here. Okay? I'm drifting down, but I'm still up in here and finding out the situation. Now, norms. What are their norms? What are their values? See, if I can figure out what a person's values are, do they believe in hard work? Do they believe in optimism? Like, here's some people, they value benefits. A person who says, I've got to find a job with benefits. Well, now I know what his values are. I've got to have a job that works 8 to 5. Can't be commission. That's his values. That's his norms. He's used to a paycheck at the end of the week. That's his norms. So I go like, now were you on commission, Cynthia, when you're in real estate? Did you have a salary? How was that set up? I'm trying to understand her by what's normal for her. Now keep in mind, if somebody says, well, I've always been on salary, but I've always wondered what it's like on commission. I take that chance to say, here's the way it works. In the beginning, you make nothing and you make a lot. You make nothing, you make a lot. And it's very annoying. But eventually, you're making 100 grand to 150. And you're really ticked because sometimes your income drops all the way to 100. You're ticked. And then it goes to a 150. And then the next month, you're making 200 and you might only make 150 that month. And they go, whoa, did you say a month? I say, yeah, but it is annoying because it's commission only. You see how I twisted them? Because they said, I've been thinking about on commission, I've been on salary all my life, but okay, so you want to start smaller with them. You could say, understand you've been on salary all your life. Let's say you're a fireman. What's the top fireman? Don't ask them this question. How much do you make? That's very wrong. But you can say, so you're a fireman in the Baltimore area. Well, if I was a fireman in the Baltimore area, what's a top-notch guy who's been there 10 years, what can I expect to be making per month? And he says, let me think, 10 years, real good fireman, I'd say you're probably going to make $5,000 a month. I go, okay. So how much would I take home? So I'd take home about $3,800 a month. Okay, good. So now I know, but I don't know what he makes. I didn't ask him that. I asked him what a fireman who's been there 10 years in that area, what would he expect to make? Not what do you make. I don't want to know what you make. I want to know what a fireman happens to be. He is one. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm pretty smart. I can put 2 and 2 together, but I didn't ask him how much he makes. I asked him, is this making sense? What does a guy in your area make if he'd been there 10 years and he was top notch? And if I were the one giving you the estimate, I would estimate high to make myself look better, so that's what I always think they're doing, but I allow them to do that. So asking great questions that are getting down to what is their values, what's their norms, what do they expect. Okay, so now, let's say I know this guy is typically bringing home $3,000 to $5,000 a month. I tell him, I said, well, it's really bad when you make none in a month, but it's fun when you make 10. So what you have to be really good when you're on commission is understanding averages. Now, if one month you make 5, and the next month you make 12, and the next month you make 4, then you make 14, so your average is way better. So what you do is, and I try to explain this to them, I said, in the beginning your salary looks like this, and maybe it goes up 3%, then it goes up 3%, so that's the way it goes. With commissions, it might go way down here, then way up here, way up here, way up here, and what you got to look for is your average. What's fun is with commissions, you can eventually do this, and now your average is way above what your salary would have possibly ever been. Now, does it still annoying when it goes up and down? Yes, it's very annoying, but who cares if you can do the math? And then people say, well, what about benefits? Because down here, my benefits were free. Well, up here, your benefits cost a little bit of your money. Each month they cost, but no, who cares? Because you're making so much better and you can buy primo benefits. And a person says, well, I'm against that. I hate that. Well, their norms do not fit our situation. Okay? So I'm going to tell them, get a steady job. I would tell that person, get a steady job and then try to work some commission stuff above that. See, now he's got the best of both worlds. He's got his steady money, but he's got an opportunity to make some commissions. That's based on his norms and what he expects. So I'm figuring out what song he's singing before I start selling. Before I start solving, I want to know what song we're playing. Okay? G, goals. What does he want in life? What would be his ultimate desire? What is his short-term situation? With Terry, I've been like, short-term, Terry, what are you thinking? Now, what y'all don't know, I know a lot more about Terry already, because I know that where he is the CEO of a credit union, he also had a little business on the side where he was selling travel. And he'd also been hiring people in the travel deal, so his goal was to get out of that salary with the credit union already. So the short term, he had to plug that hole of that little salary he was making, or big salary, depending on how you look at it. But long term, my man was thinking, I got to get out of there. So the first time I met him, and keep it in mind, it goes like this for me. The way I see it, the way I view it, the way I view the world, it goes James Hill. I'm on track, James? Right? And then it goes Paul Menachino. Is that right? And then from Paul, it goes to Balak. And then Balak goes to who? Jasmine Lightborn. And then Jasmine hired Laz. This ain't going where I want it to go. I'm talking about Terry Edwards the whole time. He ain't going to come up in this description. So for me, it goes, I hired Andy Riddle. Andy Riddle hired Mark Marcellus. Mark Marcellus hired Jason and Olga. And Jason and Olga hired Terry Edwards. So there's Terry Edwards. You with me? So you wait a minute. Andy, you're up here and you're thinking you're working down in this leg? I don't know where I'm working. I'm just trying to find good people to take over the world with, brother. So look, you see this. I hired James, that's one leg, and then another leg that I hired was Andy Riddle. So I'm down in here. By the way, Balak and all that crowd and all them are over here. I see them out in the crowd. This organization are here, but I'm over here talking to Terry Edwards. So when I'm talking to Terry, I'm trying to get this business bigger and deeper down in here under Andy Riddle and Mark Marcellus and Olga. You with me? So when I talked to him, I did the same thing that I did if I was hiring somebody brand new direct to me. I do the same thing. Sometimes we call it a GS3. We say you got a what do we say about them? You got a goal set. You got to go serve, and you got to get them started. So this is what I'm doing with Terry Edwards. Is this making sense? Yeah. All right, so what I'm doing is, so when a brand new person I'm talking to, it's a lot the same way. I'm trying to figure out all these items. I'm trying to figure out what's their situation, what's the organization, what's the norms, what's the goals that they want. What does he desire? What's his ultimate goal? So then, what do you always do? You always, when you have a person, you begin with the end in mind. This is what he wants. So I start telling him, this is his short term. He had to have a plug, so we had to get him licensed fast. Fast. How long did it take him to get his license, Jason? 2 days. 2 days, my man went through licensing. How did he do that? Remember, we teach people how to get through licensing. You go to the end of the chapter, you take that test. I talk to people every day that nobody has told them that, and they're just boring their way 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, and they're on chapter 1. I was like, didn't you tell them to go to the end of the chapter? That's the way we do it. We do exciting. We make the most boring industry in the world, insurance, the most exciting and craziest place in the world to work. That we do. You can't do that reading every page. Take the test. Y'all take the test. Figure out what you need. Go back, then take the test again. Go back, do it like that. But we got it. This is all part of the deal, guys. So this is how you do the licensing fast. We're going to start him networking. Ultimately, we want him to become EVP. We want him to be a board member, right? Because that's what he desires. That's what his goal is. Now, a lot of people, they take a brand new person and they start acting like they want to be EVP day one. And I go, brah, No, just ease them into it. This guy he's got a job. He don't want to be rich. He said, well, he does, he just don't know it. I know. Let's just get him started a little bit at a time. It depends on where they are, how fast we move them into this program. All right, so after you've done, you figure out what song they're singing. You want to figure out what key they're playing with. You with me? We're trying to get it down, right? We start out up here, and we want to figure out what's the key. We all know the key is their heart, right? We know it's the key is their heart. Where's their passion? Oh, I got to go through my thing here. All right, number one, what is their knowledge? Do they understand the problem? When I say it to Terry, when I said to Cynthia, is real estate a problem or is it you? Is New York a problem? Do you have to have license in other states? What's the situation? I'm situation, but my situation is she's 16 years in real estate. What's her knowledge of the problem? What's her understanding? Terry, you think you might get that job back tomorrow? Or Diana, is you getting ready to get promoted at Cracker Barrel? Could you ask them for less hours? And she's like, no, you cannot ask for less. So I listened to her statements, and she says, here's the situation with Cracker Barrel. I've been there how long have you been at Cracker Barrel? 4 years. I've been there 4 years. Here's my boss. Here's the hours. Here's the upward mobility. Here's the salary track. So I understand her knowledge. See, I've went right down to what the situation is. So if it's a single mom, I'm like, all right, what's the situation? Do you have help? Is the government helping you? How much? If you made money, is it going to get cut off? Is somebody else, is parents supporting you? Will they support you in this endeavor? What's their knowledge of the situation? I'm trying to figure out. That's why it ends up getting personal so many times with me, because it's intentionally getting personal. I am trying to have absolute clarity so I know what to do next. Now, you've got to know what questions to ask. You can't ask people. I don't ask. I joke about how much I've watched Law and Order and the way these attorneys ask questions. But I'm not going to say, are you married? But if you said, I've got 2 kids, you think maybe they've been married, but I'm not making a decision. I go, so who helps with the children? Who helps? Well, their daddy helps. That's good. Is he there a lot, or does he work? Does he travel? No, well, we've been divorced, and he lives here, and he comes, So I go, oh. So I'm asking questions that lead to the answer, that lead to the details. I'm seeking clarity nicely. I'm not prying. I heard people, they go, I'm copying Andy. I just right out ask him. I go, Andy don't right out ask him. It might seem like he does, but they don't get mad and they don't get defensive because he don't right out ask them. He's just asking, circling questions to figure out the understanding, the knowledge, the understanding of it. The knowledge of the problem. What is the problem? Is it time or is it money? Is it relationship with your manager? Is it the people you work with? Is it the ethics of the company? What's their knowledge of the situation? They live in a city they don't want to live in. They would rather move over here, but they don't know of a job over here. What's their knowledge? What's the key? Emotion. What is their emotion of the deal? What's the implications? What's the consequences? What's the pain? How do they feel? Is this something that makes you tremble? Is this something like you've got a good job and you're just checking things out? See, the way they respond is how I'm going to deliver my answer. And by the way, the better you can get at this, Dane, the more likely you're going to get production out of people the next week. The more you know the key to their life, the key to their heart, the key to their emotion, the key to their feelings, the more, Mark, Marcellus, we can be able to take them to new heights. That's right. It's understanding people. This is people skills. This is connection. That's the whole thing. All right. Emotion, implications, consequences, feelings. What are their feelings? Do they hate? Do they love? Do they miss? something? Do they miss living down south? Do they miss living up north? Do they love what they're doing but they aren't getting paid? Is there a way we could give them the same kind of job with more money? Is there a way that we can give them more freedom, more time with their family? Is there a way that we can have a more fun place to work? What is the situation? Now listen, here's the thing. I don't have a solution to everybody. Some people tell me it's so restrictive. They tell me, I talk to them and they go like, here's the solution I'm looking for, and it's in this little bitty box. And I go, I'll be honest, I talked to a guy yesterday, Justin Balick was sitting there, and the guy said, I said, tell me your situation. He told me his situation. We covered all of this right here, and he said, do you think you have a fit for me? And my word was, no, sir, I don't think we do, but it's really been enjoyed talking to you, and you seem like a nice person, and who knows, maybe our paths will cross. He said, thank you for being clear. You have a good day, Mr. Albright. And Jason Matthews sitting right there, and we hung up, and we continued on our business. What he had, the situation made absolutely no sense, because what he wanted was this little bitty box, and everything had to fit in there. A lot of people I talk, they're like this. Anything you got, I'll take. Right? That's what I'm talking about right there. And so when they do that, I'm trying to say, well, how would you like this right here? And it ends up coming down to the heart. You with me? How would you like that right there? Come down in here where there's freedom, travel, helping people, having fun, making money, making a difference. But I'm not selling them on that until I know where they are. Y'all tracking with me on this? Okay, so there are no's. All right, what do they yearn for? What do they yearn for? What is their true desire in life? Now, see, here's the funny thing. I know why they're on earth. I don't know if they know. So my question is their heart really lined up like it should be? I'm just asking, what is your ultimate? And some people, their ultimate has nothing to do with helping people, nothing to do with freedom. And I don't know, I can say, well, I'll tell you what you could do. You could do some sales on the side for us. Now, I guarantee you this, if I get a great person, if this is AA, okay? And when I hire a new person, if this person is awesome, I'm wondering who they know, mother, child, cousin, nephew. I'm thinking, who do they know? And I'm listening. Because they already said, my children are grown and gone. If they say, my children are grown and gone, well, Albright is up here thinking, they done grown and gone. So I'm thinking, they old enough to eat cornbread without choking. You know what I mean? They grown and gone. I'm thinking, one, this person is older than 22 years old. And I'm thinking that one's older than 18. So if I like the people a lot, I'm thinking, how am I going to go down in here and get them 2 deep? Maybe 3 wide, but I'm definitely trying to figure out somebody underneath them. Let me tell you this. Let's say I don't like them. I'm trying to figure out how I can get them 2 wide. I'm thinking, I talk to people and they go, I got this person fired up. They out of their mind excited. Would you talk to them? And I go, have you got anybody underneath them? No, they said they're going to wait. They ain't talking to nobody yet. They don't want to talk to nobody. They don't understand it. And so I start out like this. I start out and I go, brrr, brrr. And next thing, I find out they got older children. And I say, have you said anything to your children? And here's what they say. I've been thinking about that. 2 of them, I don't think so, but this one, she likes sales. She liked to make a dollar bill. And I just want to look back at the person that hired them, and I'm thinking, how did you not go there? Does this make sense? Okay, so immediately I'm dropping down, and I start asking questions. What is this child like? What is her thoughts? What's her habits? What's her values? What's the norm for her? What's her values? What is her ultimate goal? What is her situation? What's the problem here? And they will start telling me, now I am ahead of the game here, so that I can start putting them in. You say, why would you want to hire 2 people if this person ain't going to do it? Let me redraw it for you and see if it connects. This is you, and now you have 2 people. See how that works? What happened to them? I don't know. You see how this, y'all tracking on this? Song. Figure out what song they're singing, then find the key to their heart. This is all I'm doing. And then I say, you know what? This makes sense. Why don't we book a meeting? Why don't we do something? Why don't we do? Why don't we act? See, everything I'm doing is all designed on when you talk to somebody, your goal is to get them to act, get them to do. Now, is meeting with you again, if you're talking to them at noon and they agree to meet with you again at 3, is that a do? Yes. Could I ask them to do something in between here and then meet with you at 3? That's what I call a to-do, okay? I got them to look at a short 3-minute video, the profile of the company. I got them to watch the entrepreneur venture of NC State, where I'm giving the money to NC State, and the chancellor of NC State, largest university in North Carolina, is telling me how much he loves us and appreciates us. Credibility goes through the roof. I send them the little cartoon video that says you're working a job, and then you start printing money, and then you can network out and hire other people when you get ready. I pop them to them, so I give them something to do until we meet at 3. What are the things I like for people to do? See, now how I'm getting into all the other things I like people to do, the LLC, the license, the list, and the convention. So getting people to do, and people are scared, and the faster you can get them, say, well, I tell you what, 3, why don't we get back together, I'll pop you a couple of videos, and then we will get you started in the class. What do you think about is there any problem that prevents that? Well, see, here's the thing. If I've done a good job investigating, I know they got money, or I know they're really, 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 really tight on money, so I say, we really need, the first step is to get you contracted. Let me ask you this. Do you have any thoughts on where we could come up with the $49 to get you contracted? Could you ask your mother? Could you ask your son? Is there any way you could come up with that? And if they say no, so well then at 3 o'clock, let's put you fast track. Let's get you in the system. Since we punt, right? We can't contract them. We can't get them in class, but we can get them in the system. And then I say, what we can do is we can start your network until you come up with that money. So there is one thing we can do. And if they say, I'd rather wait, I go like, okay, bye. And I'm on to the next person. Does that make sense? But the person that says, yeah, the person says, why don't I just contract now? I go like, hold on a second, let me check my schedule. Now, it depends on what I have lined up, because I love to get away from a person and get back. I really would like to bam fam more than I'd like to stay on the phone with them 3 hours. I want to get a break, I want to come video. On the other hand, if Christiana's standing there or Andy Lee, I might say, Andy, contract this person, walk them through it, get them started. All right? So the deal is we're trying to get them licensed, contracted, tell them about the other convention. Now, by the way, if a person is like real unsure and it's just slowly one step at a time, I don't start saying, and you got to go to the open meeting every Tuesday night, and you got to be there at 7:15, and you got to stay until 10, and you really got to stay for night out. If you really don't plug into the whole system, this thing won't work. No, easy, child. Back down a little bit. People say, well, if the meeting's next Thursday, can I just tell them to go to the meeting next Thursday? Yeah, but don't it make sense to do something 2 hours from now, and then do something tonight at 9 o'clock, and then at 10 o'clock another something, and then at 8 in the morning? You say, Andy, well, I won't be able to talk to new people. Hello? Did you remember what we're trying to do here? We're trying to get more people selling more insurance. So talking to people is not our objective. We got a live one up in here. I'll see what I'm saying right there. You see them doggy dogs? They not chasing rabbits, squirrels. They done got them an opossum. Let me show you this. Billy, get it out of that one. Let's see if we can get it. Here we go. Make it happen. Come to my, get out of that one and go to the one with the gun, the boys. All right, well, check this out. Watch this. This right here. We got to start it back over. Watch this thing. All right, watch this thing. This right here is a practice. This is a practice piece. Watch them. This is big right here. It's not in there. Watch it. Watch it. Nope, not there. Yep, there he goes. Bam. You see my son? That's my son out there on the end. So what happens is, I go, all right, boys, get ready. Right? There he goes. Bam. There's a note. Nope, that's not one. There's one. Bam. See, pull the trigger if it was one. The first time, bam. Second time, nope. Put it back down. No, bam. You with me? So in other words, if you got one, pull the trigger. If you don't got one, put the gun back down. Did you see them throw the gun down and kick it and start crying? They were just like, one didn't come out. One didn't come out. They just put it down. But as soon as no one come out, bam. That's what you got to do. You got to shoot. You understand? And I had a guy out there this week. He never shot one before. And he said, "What's the number one rule?" I said, "Number one rule is you can't kill nothing if you don't shoot. You got to pull the trigger, right? You got to take some time with somebody. So when you hire 10 people, I ain't found a good one. What's the one that was the closest to being good? Maybe your parameters are too tight. I take all kinds of people, right? You never know. When I think I got one, I'm shooting. Meaning I'm going to book an appointment. I'm going to get to know them. I'm going to try to sign them up in class. I'm going to try to get them started. I'm going to try to get them leads. So what happens is, remember the little chicken, the little duckies at the fair where you got the little river flowing and you take the ducky up and it's loser, so you put him back, loser, put him back, loser. Then you get one that's a winner. You want to go, whoa, whoa. Now a lot of people, here's what they do. Throw him over there, and then they go, loser, loser. Then they come over to winner, and they go like, where did he go? That little joker done ran off somewhere. When you have a winner, you say, all right, you look at it, and you feel bad about missing more winners, but you right here, you go, all right, here's what we got to do. We got to get you contracted, got to get you licensed. Now, and here's another thing. This is the person that I'm taking phone calls at odd hours of the night. When I'm busy getting ready to walk in an appointment, but I get a phone call from this winner person, the one that's crazy and focused, I go, hello, yeah, I'm walking in an appointment. What do you got, bro? And he's like, well, I got this situation. Sorry, here's what you do. Da-da-da, write this down. We'll get back. I'm going to be tied up the next 2 hours. Or you call my secretary, or you call, well, I'm on President's Club, so you just tell them that, say, hey, I'm calling so-and-so who's in the President's Club, wants me to call you, and then they'll help you. See, I direct them somewhere quickly, 5 minutes. How many of you, somebody will just take 5 minutes sometimes with you and make you feel so much better? That's the way other people are too. Just yeah, there you go. Just give me a minute or two and talk to these people. Give them a call back. And but I'm not, there's more winners coming by, but I got to find some. And it's so tempting to go, winner, winner, winner. I got a bunch of people, but now ain't nobody selling any insurance. You got to, and what's happening is you're not going deep enough. You're not going deep enough. You're staying up here. You're staying up here. You got to get down in here to somebody's heart. And here's people scared too, because they're like, well, if I'm nice to him, you know, he might take advantage of me, or she might get me all fired up to be part of their business and then quit on me. That's life, right? What's the thing? If you gotta risk love to get love. You gotta risk friendship to get friendship. And people say, you just don't know my history. People have done me wrong and stomped on me and beat me down. I'm with you. I've been there. I got the scars. And Adam Cass said to me, he said, Andy, how do you do it? I said, bro, what choice do we have? People are going to be people. But we've got relationships like Stephen Davies and Chris and Courtney Long and Alex and Heather Fitzgerald and Bill and Diane Lampy and Jason and Tony Carey. It happens. I was listening to an audio this morning, taking a shower, audio going. Chloe, she's talking about relationships and saying that very seldom do you have a long-term, deep relationship, like 25, 30 years. I've been married 28 years. You know, which is, by the way, why I'm listening to this audio, right? And I'll tell y'all more about that. I'm going to listen to the whole thing, but it's a new book, and I actually do an audio because there's no way I would take time to read that. I'm listening to this one because I don't know who this person is, but what she was recommended, and it was saying that is so valuable to have one long-term relationship. So I look at my life and I think of the number of relationships that I've had for 10 years, 12 years, 15 years, 20 years, and with this room, 10, 15, I mean, it's just, that's the big thing. That's the ultimate, is to have friends and to help people make it in this life. Not this relationship, I'm not getting what I want, so you jump to this relationship, it's not getting what. It's like treating a relationship like a toy or like a video game or like something you got at the store and saying, this is what I want, take it back. This ain't what I want, take it back. Let me try it better. And then you never get that deep relationship. That's what builds money. That's what builds fun. That's what builds on your deathbed, and you're looking back and you're remembering people and all the good times that we had. By the way, we're not going to look at how much money we got stacked up in our bank account. Nope, we're not going to worry about that. But I'm going to remember fishing with Spencer. We're going to remember when he went to prep school and we spent that crazy money up in New Hampshire. We're going to remember flying up there and getting him. We're going to remember going to football games and sitting in the suites. We're going to remember concerts. We're going to remember going to Greece. We're going to remember Banff. We're going to remember Lake Louise. Stuff like that, when I look back about my life, that's the things I remember. It's experience with buddies and friends and relationships. And where it begins is on the interview.